I was up late watching a live stream when suddenly I felt an itch on my head. Oh no, am I growing a brain? I quickly got up and went to the hospital to get checked. Guess what? A tumor. When I received the CT scan showing the tumor in my brain at the hospital, I was stunned. My mind went blank. The doctor tried to comfort me. If you receive proper treatment, can it be cured, doctor? You might live another month. He explained that the tumor was pressing on my nerves. And over the next 2 months, I would experience the full ordeal of nausea, vomiting, and excruciating headaches. As the shadow of death loomed over me, I couldn't help but tear up and took a photo for Instagram. Folks, who understands, I've got a brain tumor. From today onwards, I'm a tumor blogger. If you haven't followed me yet, do it quickly, because each look you take is one less I have left. The comments were all jokingly laughing, saying, "There goes the blogger, crazy again." I laughed along too. Bruce always says my brain doesn't work like others. I used to argue, but now, it seems he was right. My brain really is different. It has a tumor. Amazed by his prophetic words, I carelessly folded the diagnosis and stuffed it in my bag, then rode my electric scooter to the market. The market at 6 in the morning was fresh and clean. The vegetable seller looked at me like I was her archenemy. Me, $3. Lady, $3.50. Not a penny less. Me. Can't you be a bit more lenient, lady, rolling her eyes? I'm not your mom. I can't just cut you some slack on everything. Me, mom. The lady was speechless. She angrily threw the vegetables into my broken basket, warning fiercely, "How many times do I have to tell you? Don't call me mom in front of others, not even in private." I chuckled and took the vegetables. "You're generous. How else could you say your child got into a top high school?" She proudly lifted her chin. "Exactly. As they say, the dragon begets the dragon." With William's excellent genes, of course his son is successful, unlike your dad, that old rat. Marrying my dad was her life's biggest regret, and she considered it a disgrace. I quickly nodded in agreement, saying she was right, especially since my dad had passed away long ago. I returned to my ramshackle old house in the alley, prepared a stew with $5 worth of ribs and $1 worth of radish, fried a plate of $2 greens, served up 2 bowls of rice, and called out, "Dinner's ready." I sat down, tasted the greens I had cooked, true to my own cooking, delicious. I was enjoying my meal when I heard movement from the chair across. I pushed the rib soup towards it. "Eat up, then go to school." Look at the vegetable seller Williams family. Their son got into a top high school. You have to do well, aim for a top university. Stephen finally lost his patience, looked up at me angrily. "Rainey, you really treat me like your son." I shot him a look. "An elder sister is like a mother. What's the difference between you and my son?" He coldly replied, "My brother died long ago. Where did you get an elder sister from? You're just his lapdog, still fawning over him even after his death. Are you just being foolish?" What a rude kid. I placed a rib in his bowl. "I enjoy it. Eat your meat, and don't touch my vegetables." "I won't eat it." My face turned stern, and I commanded, "Eat." Seeing my expression, he was taken aback for a second, then slammed his bowl on the table and yelled furiously, "I said I won't eat." "Rainey, can't you see how annoying you are? I don't need your care. Do you know what you look like right now? Get out of my house like a scurrying dog," he yelled. I stared at him, my eyes wide, perhaps my face a bit pale. He seemed like he wanted to come closer, but then he thought better of it and averted his gaze. "I told you to get out. Can't you understand simple human speech?" he snapped, sheepishly. I replied, "If you don't want to eat it, that's fine. How about stewed chicken for dinner? I heard from the lady at the market that it's really nourishing and good for the memory." "You," he said, staring at me in disbelief. I offered a conciliatory smile. "Don't be angry. The college entrance exam is just around the corner. Getting upset isn't worth it. It could affect your performance. Once you're done with the exams, I'll leave." I thought he would be pleased since he never really liked me around, eager for me to leave. Now that the exams were only a week away, I had already planned to leave afterward. I didn't want to spend the last 2 months of my life stuck here. But why wasn't he happy? Instead, his eyes were red as he stared at me intently, his voice strange. "You've been thinking this way all along, haven't you, Rainey? You were only nice to me because of my brother. You promised him you'd take care of me. Now that I'm an adult, you just can't wait to get rid of me." I paused, then added softly, "I just want you to do well on your exams, and so does your brother," I added. He looked at me silently for a couple of seconds. For a moment, I thought he was going to cry, but he just grabbed his backpack and left without looking back. Fine, have it your way. I sat at the narrow dining table, the food still steaming hot. I picked up a rib and started eating voraciously, mumbling to the empty seat across from me, "Your brother is really hard to please." I thought of Bruce and figured if he were here, he would never refuse my ribs and would even praise them as the best. It's a pity he wasn't that lucky. Why did he have to die so young? Was he in a hurry to be reincarnated? Oh, I'm going to die too. My mom was right, the son of a rat will dig holes. But that's not entirely accurate, because the daughter of a rat will too, at the age of 2. After she was knocked unconscious and nearly froze to death one winter, she finally came to her senses. With a slap on her thigh, she locked me in the house and, taking advantage of a man's drunken stupor, she stole $500 and vanished without a trace. By 4, I was finding my own food. By 5, I was cooking, boiling noodles in clear water. The alkaline noodles from our small village were $3 for a big handful, enough to last a long time. After the age of 5, my body accrued many bruises and bumps. Once compulsory education was over, there was no need for school. The money I earned from working wasn't enough for his drinking and gambling, so he forced me to learn to steal money. True to being the daughter of a rat, I had a knack for it and rarely got caught. Getting caught meant a severe beating. If I was lucky, I'd get arrested and spend a few days in jail. Avoiding the beatings and getting meals, the police officer would look at me with a headache, trying to steer me onto the right path. I'd just smile at him. "Sir, I'm already an adult, so just let it be for a few days." The officer, exasperated, would be at a loss for words. They all knew about my situation, the folks in town. They'd helped me since I was young. But they were outsiders after all. They couldn't always protect me. I thought about leaving, but I didn't even have enough money for a bus ticket. Moreover, where could I possibly go after leaving? Bruce was my last slip-up. That tall, lanky teenager with bleach-faded clothes, working on a construction site, his skin sunburnt and peeling, yet always smiling at everyone. To me, he was just a big, naive guy, too easy to steal from. There's honor among thieves. I only take one card. Before I could even mockingly pull it out, a large hand grabbed mine, and those clear, black and white eyes stared at me. I was almost ready to be beaten up. Instead, he just stared at the bruises on my arm and my skinny, bony frame for quite a while, then grinned. "You want to come home with me, huh? Great." I was just missing a sister. Beside him, a boy immediately looked at me with suspicion. Steven was so annoying back then. I don't know what I was thinking, but I knew no one else had any expectations of me. Otherwise, given my frail body, I would have been sold off to settle gambling debts by now. All I remember is having the most satisfying and delicious meal ever at that cramped dining table that day. I gained a brother and a younger brother, too, and a home. They, too, lacked parents and were all alone. I never returned to that home. I learned to cook, to push Steven to study hard, and to wait for my family to come home. Though we weren't related by blood, we formed a peculiar family in that tiny space. Bruce was the most honest. Whenever it was time, I'd roll up my sleeves and start a big argument with the person opposite. After arguing, I'd find him just bowing his head, looking at me with a gentle smile. "What are you looking at?" Not even helping me. I felt completely justified. He would ruffle my hair and carry me home in a good mood. Thinking that would placate me. Our roles were always clear. Steven studied hard, Bruce worked every day, and I did odd jobs, saving up to open a small shop someday. Life was shabby, and we patched it together. Bruce always said he was just a scavenger, tables and chairs, all scavenged. I grabbed his hand and pointed at myself. "Even your wife is scavenged." He just smiled and said nothing. 3 days after being diagnosed with a tumor, I started dreaming. In my dreams, it was always Bruce's face, things from the past. I felt like he was coming to pick me up. "I wonder if it's cold down there." Steven has been staying at a classmate's house these days, not coming home. It seems he really hates me now. I started having nosebleeds, dizziness, headaches, and even vomiting, but I never expected to run into Steven at the hospital. He was stunned to see me, supporting a pale-faced girl, and I hesitantly looked up. "Gynecology department." No mistake, I was shocked. "You bastard." I rushed up and knocked Steven down. "Rainey, what are you crazy about?" "She's just faint from seeing blood." I was just helping. Steven didn't yell, just pushed me away. The force wasn't strong, but my body was already weak. I stumbled and fell to the ground. I came to my senses, relieved and foolishly happy. It was a misunderstanding. That's good. I haven't led Stephen astray. But the people around us weren't smiling. They looked at me in horror, at the blood streaming from my nose. Stephen's hands were trembling. I wiped my face nonchalantly. I've been a bit overheated these days. It's nothing. Haha, really? He asked. Really? Then why are you at the hospital? And you, why are you at the hospital? I'm here for a physical examination for the college entrance exam. Wait, I'm asking you, getting smarter. I thought for a moment, just a cold, came to check it out, but it's nothing serious. Seeing that he was about to ask more, I preempted him. Oh, and remember to go home after your exams. I'll cook a meal for you since I'll be leaving soon. He stopped talking. I felt like he was about to cry. Damn it, the tumor in my head is causing hallucinations. I'm not worried about Stephen's grades. As Bruce used to say, he's naturally cut out for academics, so I'm preparing to properly say goodbye to him. I owe him an apology. If it weren't for me, he wouldn't be without a brother. One day I overslept by half an hour, skillfully tilted my head back, wiped the blood from my nose, and savored the strangely warm taste of blood in my throat. Looking up at my pale face in the cracked mirror, I forced a smile and posted on my blog, "Tumor goes round, pain every day." The comments section burst into laughter. An old fan joked, "Who would have thought this funny blogger used to write love diaries?" I silently curled my lips and liked the comment, riding my electric scooter through the dilapidated alley, a route almost ingrained in my bones, because this place used to be my home. I picked and chose, bought a heap of vegetables. The vegetable seller eyed me warily, as if guarding against a thief. 25, not a penny less, she declared, ready for a lengthy haggle. Beep, $25 received. As she looked on in astonishment, I turned and left, unnoticed by me. The crumpled diagnosis report fell into the pile of vegetables as I pulled out my phone. I carefully bought some pork belly, planning to cook a dish of braised pork, a dish I've wanted to eat for a long time. But I always feared using up Bruce's compensation money, afraid Stephen would end up without tuition fees. Just like me, with nowhere to turn, I meticulously prepared the dishes, stir-fried greens with garlic, fried the meat until the fat rendered, added star anise and sugar. The small pot bubbled. Tonight's lotus root soup. The kitchen was bustling yet silent, so much so that when I finished setting the table, I noticed Stephen standing quietly at the doorway. He and Bruce didn't look much alike. Bruce was gentle with thick eyebrows and big eyes. Stephen's features were sharper, more edgy. I smiled. "You're back today." Stephen was very quiet, not mocking me as usual. I still served him food, casually saying, "There's still 100,000 left in the account from Bruce's compensation, I've calculated, and it should cover your 4 years of college." But wasn't the compensation only 150,000? It's been 3 years since my brother died. I smiled slyly. "I'm good at saving money, right?" His eyes reddened. "I don't want it, you keep it." "Nonsense. How will you pay your tuition fees if you don't take it?" I frowned. "I've already found a summer job, Rainey. I don't need you to take care of me anymore. I can earn my own money," he said, his gaze unwavering. I shook my head. "I don't want you to do those things. You should focus on your studies. Stephen, you're still young. Each step you take should be solid," Bruce used to say. I don't want to hear what he said. Suddenly, he stood up, grabbed my shoulders, and raised his voice. "Rainey, see it clearly. He's already dead. Can you stop mentioning him every time you speak?" My expression cooled. "He's your brother, Stephen. Is this how you talk about your brother?" It was the second time I lost my temper with him. He gave an ugly laugh. "Exactly, because he's my brother. It hurts so much. I can't even feel jealous of him." "Rainey, what should I do? You're leaving soon. All because of him." I sensed something was off with him and instinctively tried to pull away. "Stephen, can you calm down? What's wrong with you?" "I'm going crazy." Tears streamed down his face. "Rainey, I'm about to lose it. Every time I hear you mention his name, I almost lose my mind. I can earn money now. I can take care of you, but you only stayed for him. Now, you say you're leaving. You're all leaving me alone. Rainey, why can't you look at me?" he cried, his eyes red, half kneeling on the ground, stubbornly looking up at me sitting in the chair. I was dumbfounded by his words. "Rainey, someone called me." I instinctively looked down. Drops of blood fell on Stephen's face. He looked at me in horror, panic in his eyes like I had never seen before. Don't panic." I clumsily tried to wipe the blood off his face, comforting him. It's just a nosebleed, just a nosebleed. Stephen, can you hand me a paper? I was a bit blurry. He didn't respond, muttering as he looked around. Paper, yeah, paper. Then he frantically pulled out his phone. Ambulance, right, ambulance. Once he got through, he shouted, help her, at 28 London Road. Please help her at 28 London Road. This fool, I wanted to laugh at him, but the blood in my mouth made it impossible. I had to settle for telling him, Stephen, the road is too narrow here, the ambulance can't get through, and, hand me a piece of paper. I could almost imagine how terrifying it must look to spit blood with every word I said, otherwise Stephen wouldn't look so scared. Hey, serves him right for scaring him like that. He just stared blankly at me for 2 seconds. Then stuffed a wad of paper into my arms and suddenly picked me up and rushed out the door. My little electric scooter couldn't bear the weight of 2 people, so he carried me to the roadside, trembling as he whispered to me, Rainey, don't die, don't die, I'm taking you to the hospital right now, don't die. Holding a wad of paper, I could no longer speak. Blood was unstoppable from my nose and mouth. I felt a bit of pain. At night, the cars passing on the road blared their horns. He just held me and knelt on the road, pleading with the passing vehicles, please, help her, I have money, please help her, take her to the hospital, I'll pay you, please save her, are you blind, watch where you're going, what the hell, did you kill someone, get lost, scram, damn it, holding a dead body, have you gone mad? You can imagine how eerie it looked for a young man holding a blood-covered girl kneeling in the middle of the road at midnight. Drivers forced to stop cursed loudly before getting scared, jumping back into their cars, and speeding away. Some even yelled at him louder and more harshly. He didn't argue, as long as someone could get me to the hospital, as long as someone could save me. But that was Stephen, proud Stephen, covered in thorns. Anyone who dared to speak against him would be met with a full burst of spikes, leaving them battered and bruised. Yet that day, he held me in his arms, kneeling in the middle of the road, begging countless people, constantly murmuring to save me. The young man always held his back straight. I knew he was afraid that without Bruce, if he bowed his back, everyone would think we had no one to defend our home and take advantage of us. Like that time I was almost dragged into an alley. He rushed over, nearly beating the man to death, until I pulled him back. After filing the police report, I couldn't help but advise him, in situations like this, you should call the police. Not resort to violence. Rainey, are you stupid? He was attacking you, and you expect me to just stand by and call the police? He was twice as loud in his anger. Of course, I understood, but have you thought about it? You're still so young, you shouldn't have a criminal record for excessive self-defense, at least not on my account. He didn't speak to me all night, and I was startled the next day to find Stephen sitting in the living room, having not slept at all. I saw him lift his eyes, red and bloodshot, staring at me, word by word, like a young wolf baring its fangs. He said, Rainey, I only know one thing. If anyone dares to bully you, I'll kill them. The still naive Stephen raised his fists for me, and at 18, Stephen bowed his back for me. Warm liquid fell on my face, and I thought I was hallucinating. I never imagined a tumor could have the same effect as a fungus. It was a strange feeling. Because I saw Stephen crying, I wanted to reach out. I wanted to comfort him, telling him not to be afraid, that it was okay, that I was still fine. But I couldn't speak. My consciousness was fading, and my vision blurred. Stephen kept calling out to me, Rainey, don't sleep. Please don't leave me alone. I'm begging you. Please don't sleep. You promised my brother you'd take good care of me, right? I'm begging you, don't leave me. He sobbed. When he couldn't stop a car, he carried me and ran, kilometers on just his legs. How could he possibly finish the run? I finally couldn't keep my eyes open any longer, and with the last glance, I saw the headlights shining toward me. Someone got out of the car, a bulky figure, carrying the scent of various vegetables from the market. I dreamed of Bruce again, but it was that summer I could never bring myself to recall. I celebrated my first birthday in my life. Stephen sulked beside me blowing up balloons, cheap as cabbage. He watched the store at the school's snack shop for a long time to earn them. There were 19 balloons, 19 different patterns. I stood with my hands on my hips, commanding Bruce to carry me to clean the high windows. Stephen grumbled, who organizes their own birthday? Isn't it always others who surprise you? Ha, that cheeky boy. I held Bruce's hand, triumphant. Family vote, 2-1, minority obeys the majority. I'm happy. Stephen objected. It's only because you forced my brother. I turned and asked him, did I force you? He lowered his head, smiling. I volunteer. I reached out my hand. He took it, and we exchanged smiles. Minority follows the majority. Stephen, annoyed, threw balloons at us. I made the birthday cake myself, with braised pork as the base, topped with potatoes and green vegetables, and surrounded by a circle of rice. I closed my eyes to make a wish, hoping that Bruce would live a long and safe life, and that Stephen would get into a good university with a bright future ahead. Later, Bruce asked me why I hadn't made a wish for myself. I waved it off nonchalantly. Miss here can get what she wants on her own. I don't need to make wishes. But actually, I lied. Meeting them was already the biggest fortune of my life. I've always been unlucky since childhood. I dare not ask for more from fate. I just hope it doesn't take away what I already have. Sadly, I really am unlucky. My birthday present was 19 balloons and a new generic phone that cost only $300. Holding it, I confronted Bruce. Spending so much money. Are you out of your mind? He admitted his mistake as always with a good attitude. But, I just can't help spoiling Rainy. What should I do? I paused. Repeating, what should I do? He burst out laughing, mimicking my tone. What should I do? I rushed up to pinch his cheek. He bent down to pinch mine. I was speechless, not feeling victorious at all. Though I said that, at night I still turned on my phone. Back then, Instagram wasn't very popular, and many people used it to record their lives, like writing a diary. I secretly opened an account. April 25th. Sunny, does the big fool even know how to save, spending $300 so easily? Indeed, this house can't function without me. He could also buy $100 Nokia. I like the $300 one. I like the $100 one too. As long as he gives it, I like it. April 30th. Cloudy, the big fool got ripped off again today. $4 for a cabbage. Lucky I arrived in time to haggle 50 cents. It's time to teach him how to argue. One of my special skills. I usually don't teach outsiders. P.S. What to do if the bear child doesn't study well? Of course, play mixed doubles. May 3rd. Sunny, the big fool really can't argue. How can someone be so foolish? He himself says, what would he do without me? Okay, my heart softens. As long as he doesn't learn, I won't leave him. Also, today my brother ranked first in the whole school. Applause. May 8th. Rainy, I plan to start saving money to open a small shop. Starting to save now. The big fool wants to give me his money, but I didn't take it. I can save on my own. The children's grades at home are as good as ever. May 15th. Rainy, saved 100. Keep it up. May 20th. Sunny, saved 150. May 22nd. Sunny, 160. Big fool, can you never learn to argue? May 28th. Cloudy, saved 200. He wished me a happy birthday and told me, Rainy, may you be happy forever and ever. Fool, your blessings are delayed. They won't work. Don't you know? June 1st. Cloudy, the kid is in the first year of high school, but we still celebrated Children's Day for him. Who made him so childish? When will he grow up? June 5th. Stormy, the big fool is no longer called the big fool. His name is Bruce, my beloved. On June 5th. The sky looked heavy, as if it was about to pour rain at any moment. Stephen and I were getting ready to go pick up Bruce. He's always been too kind-hearted, lending his umbrella to others and then forgetting to ask for it back. Later, I learned that those who took the umbrellas might not even have a place to sleep under cover during the summer. He didn't forget, he was simply doing the right thing. I didn't expect to run into my dad there. He charged at me with a knife. His face twisted as he barked, you heartless girl, just like your mother, finding a man and not giving me money to spend. I can't live like this anymore. You're going to die with me. This wasn't the first time I'd encountered him. The day after my birthday, I noticed someone lurking near me, someone following me. I walked faster and faster, then heard that devilish voice, Rainy. I turned around in terror. My dad, in tattered clothes reeking of alcohol, stood less than 2 meters away from me. I mustered my courage. What are you doing here? Of course, I came to get some money to spend. You brat, I didn't expect you've grown so capable, seducing men. Come on, give me the money he gave you, my dad said cheerfully. I frowned. It's not like that between us. I don't have any money. What? No money? My dad's face soured immediately. He shouted fiercely, no money. What are you doing hanging around here then? Go back and steal some money to pay me back. I won't go. It was the first time I had replied to him with such firmness. This is my home, you've grown too bold, you brat. My dad moved to slap me as he spoke. I instinctively stepped back and bumped into something warm. The expected pain didn't come. Instead, my dad's hand was firmly grabbed. It was the first time I saw Bruce's gentle smile disappear, replaced by a touch of indifference as he shielded me in his arms. Expressionlessly facing my dad seemed intimidated. Especially by Bruce's taller stature, and by Stephen, who had somehow found an iron rod to wield from behind. You just wait. He retreated a few steps, scared, threw out a harsh threat, and ran off without hesitation. My legs went weak at that moment. Bruce held me close, gently patting my back, soothingly coaxing, "Don't be afraid, Rainey, don't be afraid. He's gone now, I'm here. Don't cry. It hurts my heart when you cry." It dawned on me then, and I realized. Stephen stood in the corner across from us, also looking at me in surprise. It turned out, I had already been crying, years of fear and injustice shattered in that moment, and I sobbed uncontrollably in Bruce's arms, doing something I had scorned for over a decade. I complained to him. He hit me. "Bruce, it hurts so much. I'm so afraid of pain." I was a mess of snot and tears, looking ridiculous and pitiful, thinking he would surely laugh at me, but he didn't. Instead, he just held me tenderly, whispering in my ear, "It won't hurt anymore. It will never hurt again. No one will ever hit you again. What if someone does?" he said. "I will stand in front of you, then, let them hit me until they're too tired to hit you," I said, and I laughed, a laugh mixed with relief. He laughed too, and without any disdain. He wiped away my tears. "Once you laugh, you're not allowed to cry anymore." But I meant what I said. If someone hits you, I'll definitely be there to shield you. He meant what he said, so when I saw the knife plunged into his stomach as he fell down the stairs, all sound vanished from my ears. I couldn't hear Stephen's agonized screams, nor the dreadful cry of my father as he hit the ground. There was only one thought in my head: "Rainey, you really should die." What does it look like when someone falls to their death? Their bones shattered, their body twitching, blood flowing from every orifice. In excruciating pain, I knelt before him, my whole body trembling. That day, I learned another harsh truth. When pain reaches its absolute limit, you can't even cry, let alone speak. Even your consciousness begins to falter. This fool, he still tried to struggle and say something to me. I lowered my head as his warm, blood-stained hand covered my eyes. I hated him because, even at that moment, he was trying to make me laugh. He said, "Rainey, don't look, it's ugly." Tears fell through the gaps between his fingers as I choked up, wanting to scold him. "Bruce, trying to make me laugh at a time like this? Are you trying to torture my heart?" He apologized as quickly as ever. "Sorry, but you look so beautiful when you smile. Crying doesn't suit you, so please don't cry." I tried to smile, but tears uncontrollably streamed down my face as I watched him. He smiled too. "Rainey, it's not your fault. Remember, it's never your fault." He spoke to me but looked at Stephen. The ambulance arrived quickly, but not as swiftly as the Grim Reaper's scythe. The last person Bruce saw before he died was Stephen. No one knows what they said to each other. It happened at a construction site, which was unrelated, but still. The site manager handed me a card at his funeral. He said, "I was planning to groom him as my successor. I don't have any children of my own, and my wife left me. I thought of him as a son, giving him a greeting gift as if he were my own. It seems fair, doesn't it?" I watched helplessly as he went from being unscathed to a box of ashes. This is a nightmare, yet because of him, I don't want to wake up. When I opened my eyes again, I saw the sterile white ceiling of the hospital. The smell of disinfectant both familiar and foreign. The kid in the next bed was playing King of Glory. I caught a glimpse, my vision still sharp, waiting for Stephen to return. I saw myself lying 2 meters away, also giving remote commands through the air. Left, no, right, hit him. Can't you hit him properly, you noob?" Stephen was speechless. He gritted his teeth. "Rainey." At the sound, I looked up to see his cold, slightly guilty face and laughed awkwardly. "You're back." I just thought it was heartburn, but now that I'm awake, I feel like I could eat 2 cows. Really, shouldn't stream those edge-of-your-seat broadcasts at midnight. Causes heartburn. He sat in front of me, unamused, his eyes reddening. "Rainey, am I stupid? Still lying to me now?" Sheepishly, I replied. "You knew," he said. "All that blood, Don't talk about heartburn, even going to a grave wouldn't produce that much, I acknowledged. I'll be more careful next time, and then, he asked. I was puzzled. Then what? Rainey, look carefully, you have a tumor in your brain, you're going to die. He gritted his teeth in frustration. Don't be so imprecise, it's certain death. But so what, if I ask it not to let me die, will it listen and spare me? I tried to comfort him and lighten his mood. So take it easy, who knows, maybe in 18 years you'll be back on your feet. He stopped listening to me and said fiercely, treat it, no matter the cost, you just stay here. I won't treat it, I said resolutely. I don't want to spend my last days covered in tubes. The real issue is, if all the money goes to my treatment, what will he use for his education? I had built an impenetrable wall around myself, prepared to remain indifferent no matter what he said, firmly refusing to agree. But then he said, Rainey, I've already lost my brother. Do you want me to watch you die too? You're all I have left. Sister, boom, a needle pierced through the iron wall. And then the wall slowly began to crumble. I was utterly defeated. I was taken to a special hospital ward. As time passed, vomiting blood and nosebleeds became a daily occurrence for me. At first, Stephen would panic and frantically call for the doctor, but I would press the emergency button myself, mocking his lack of composure. But even that amusement faded after 3 days. Damn that genius. He learns everything so quickly. I also discovered that he had a hobby of drawing. I was shocked. Why didn't I know? Over the years, I could predict what Stephen was about to say just by his pout. It was impossible that I didn't know, or rather, he had never taken a pencil or a piece of paper in front of me, and his room was his private space, which I never entered. Stephen was still obstinate. Why do you need to know? His pencil moved, and although it was just a cheap sheet of draft paper, he made it seem like it was worth so much more. I was paralyzed with curiosity. Let me see. No. TCH, what a miser, who cares? I turned away and ignored him. Many afternoons passed like this, with the sunlight streaming in while I dozed off, listening to the rustling sound of Stephen's pencil, that genius, always busy even after exams. Thankfully, despite the boredom here, the hospital food was quite good. I was vain. It's just slightly worse than what I make. Thinking about this, I remembered the pork belly and lotus root soup we hadn't started eating that night. Damn. I should have had a few bites earlier. After all, it's just blood that I throw up, not the food. Such a loss. Stephen was combing my hair, knowing that after today, it would all be shaved off. Uncharacteristically, he wasn't bickering with me and gently said, when you're better, we can eat together again. I didn't respond to him, just enjoyed my meal from the food tray. After a long while, he spoke again. Rainey, I'm the first person to ever comb your hair, and the only one. The cost of staying in the special ward and treatment was frighteningly high. $70,000 just vanished in a month. Why 70,000? Because I had hidden the other 30,000. Stephen asked me fiercely, and I replied with a smile, Stephen, let me go home. I was quite comfortable there, mainly because there was internet there. You wish, Rainey, he retorted, you cannot die. He stated it with finality. But hearing him say this, I knew this kid hadn't been beaten down by society yet. He didn't understand that just wishing something away doesn't make it disappear. Without money, wouldn't he still have to be sent back with me? I spent those days in a surprisingly good mood, waiting for some good news. And good news did arrive. The bad news, however, was that the good news was about Stephen becoming the top scholar of the province. The county school was overjoyed, celebrating with drums and gongs, showering Stephen with $400,000. Not just from the school, but the city and the province wanted to reward him too. In the blink of an eye, the kid became a millionaire. With a grand gesture, he sent me to the hospital for 2 months. I gritted my teeth in frustration. Damn those top students. He became wealthy. He said, Rainey, look, I can take care of you now. Ah, true to our shared blood, equally foolish. Birth, aging, sickness, death. Could his wealth change any of that? My pain became more frequent. And chemotherapy sessions were excruciating. Each one made me wish for death, causing me to lose 30 kilos in just 2 months. I was practically a skeleton now. Stephen, when he touched me, treated me as if I were something fragile. He no longer spent his time painting. Instead, he spent night after night by my bedside. His eyes were bloodshot, maybe from staying up. Luckily, even in great pain, I still wasn't picky about food and ate well. One day, Stephen lifted me into a wheelchair to take me out for some sun. He stepped away for a moment to handle some paperwork. A plump figure abruptly entered, paused upon seeing me, and hastily retreated. My voice sounded almost demonic. "Auntie," the vegetable-selling auntie sheepishly walked in. Seeing my emaciated form, she froze, clutching her lunchbox tightly. Perhaps she couldn't believe that the little tyrant who used to argue with her over 50 cents for half an hour was now just a skeletal frame in a narrow wheelchair, with too much empty space. Her once vibrant face now pale and clearly showing signs of impending death. She opened her mouth to speak. "Is it really confirmed?" I replied with a smile. "You've been bringing meals for 2 months, isn't it obvious?" She stood there, stunned, staring at me blankly. I took the lunchbox from her. It felt heavy, or perhaps I was just too light. Opening it, I was greeted by the aroma of meat porridge. Though it was too bland, my mood instantly improved, and as I ate, I commented, "Today's meal is good, but the meat isn't tender. Remember to use tenderizer." I rambled on, a bad habit Bruce had nurtured in me because he never stopped me, making it impossible to break. It was all his fault. The vegetable-selling auntie didn't respond, just stared intently at me. Her middle-aged, plump face bore a slight resemblance to mine, but now it suddenly contorted in anger, and in a sudden outburst, she knocked the lunchbox from my hands. "Stop eating," she shouted. I looked up in confusion. "Why eat? A scourge that lingers for 1,000 years. Your dead father lived to that age. You're his daughter. How could you possibly die so soon? It's good that he died." She paced back and forth, finally bursting out laughing. I was shocked. "You?" Because she started cursing vehemently. "What a terrible hospital, such expensive equipment, and it gives inaccurate readings, just deceiving ordinary people for their money, incompetent doctors, broken machines, lousy hospitals, rotten luck." She cursed everything she could think of, eventually directing her anger at her own miserable life. Then she burst into heavy sobbing. "Why did you even have to die? Why did I even give birth to you? I knew this, I wouldn't have had you. I didn't want to care about your suffering. What does it matter to me? You still carry the blood of that bastard father of yours." But, she started crying again, sitting on the ground, oblivious to the stares of passers-by, crying hysterically. "But why did you have to die, Rainey?" I silently handed her a tissue. She didn't cry for long before she stood up, picked up her lunchbox, and quickly said, "I'll go make another one." She left so quickly, I couldn't even see if her tears had dried. Once the hospital room quieted down, I noticed Stephen, who had been standing at the door without my knowing. A gentle breeze stirred his sleeves, and I realized he had lost a lot of weight. Chemotherapy was back. The illness hadn't improved. I felt like I was going mad from the torment. Several times I screamed, wanting to escape. Stephen held me tightly from behind, his tears falling on my neck, crying silently. In the end, the torment made me want to find someone to blame. I wanted to hate my doctor and the nurse who administered my injections. The chemotherapy was so painful, but they just didn't want to give up on my life. I wanted to hate my mother, who made meals for me every day, rain or shine. She had left me so decisively back then, and now she was pretending to be the good person. But if she hadn't left, she would have just frozen to death on some cold winter night. She reappeared the year after my dad died, and we acted like strangers, fighting over pennies. Yet clearly, we should have been the closest of people. I don't forgive her, but I don't hate her either. I wanted to hate Stephen, who always spoke harshly and pressured me during my chemotherapy. His words were so venomous, even though I was so good to him, and he still was harsh on me, but only if I didn't know he did it to push me away, not wanting to become a burden to me. The one I should hate the most is my father. All the misfortunes of my life stemmed from him. I hated him so deeply, wishing I could exhume and whip his corpse, but he was already dead, and he had taken away the boy I loved most. Looking back on my life, I couldn't find a living person who could bear my resentment. The living, they seemed to have done nothing wrong, so why was my suffering still so immense? Thus, I tried to love life. Without Bruce, I became someone else. I even started watching live streams of bodybuilders late at night, commenting, "Wearing so little. Are you troubled by something?" I also learned to play video games. "I'm bad because I don't spend money on games. You're just naturally bad." I got reported so many times for my sharp tongue. "Now, I'm barely hanging on," I said to Stephen, holding me. "Stephen, I want to see the ocean," he said. "Okay." I returned once more to the home that haunted my dreams. watching Stephen pack our bags. The wind stirred his door. I finally saw his drawings, a wall full of white paper, a wall full of me, laughing. Angry, shy, surprised, fierce, naive, proud, vain, but notably, none of me crying. At some point, he came up behind me, his voice hoarse as if it took all his strength to say, "Rainey, I like you," such a rebellious statement. If Bruce were still here, I'd definitely drag Bruce with me to beat him up. If it were 3 months ago, I was determined to educate him about his thoughts. But now, I'm close to death. Why should I let him suffer any more? So I commented with a smile, "Nice taste." Bruce once said he would take me to see the ocean because he heard from his boss that young girls like going to the seaside, calling it romantic. But having really come here, I find it's nothing special. The wind is salty, the sand sticks to shoes and socks, the shells are washed up broken, and ephemeral creatures cling dead to them, and I am burnt out, like a lamp without oil. Stephen holds me, crying inconsolably. He keeps saying, "I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I said so many stupid things. I even made you angry. I'm such a jerk. But Rainey, why do you all have to go and leave me alone?" His childish behavior made me laugh in exasperation. I comfortingly patted his back and said the same thing I told Bruce. "It's not your fault. I know everything. You're not to blame." In a daze, everything before me vanished. The sea water turned clear and blue, the shells gently expelled their flesh, and the sunlight was just right. I saw the boy from my dreams approaching me. He looked the same as before, watching me with a gentle smile. I was startled, and tears fell as I both cried and laughed. Why did you only come to fetch me now?" I complained to him again. "You have no idea how painful chemotherapy was, Bruce. Why did you only come now? I missed you so much, for so many, many years. I'm sorry." He touched my head. I said, "I'm bald, so ugly." He laughed. "You look beautiful. Rainey is the most beautiful." He bent down towards me, and I happily threw myself onto his back, easily carried by him. I happily asked, "Where are we going?" He gently replied, "To see the sea, the sunrise, to see you, Rainey. Is someone calling me?" I turned back blankly, but there was no one behind me. Rainey is gone. She died in my arms. Her arrival was an accident. One day, as I pestered my brother to buy ice pops, we went to the construction site's shop where we encountered her. She was pitifully thin and seemed fragile, but her eyes were very bright. I didn't dislike her. She was different from what I had imagined. She was always full of energy. Since she moved into our home, my life changed. It was as if a calm lake suddenly started to boil. I thought this life would go on for a long time, but then my brother passed away. The only blood relative in my life was gone completely. I cried and begged him to stay, but all he said was, "Live well, you're an adult now." He didn't ask me to do anything, just let me grow freely as he had always done. In the past, when I faced hardships, there was a roof over my head, but now that roof was gone. I knew what my brother meant. I wouldn't blame Rainey. It wasn't her fault, but she was clumsy. Always trying to make things up to me, always trying to pave the way for me. I knew she specially prepared meat dishes for me every night, so I would quickly finish the stir-fried cabbage she made and push the meat towards her, telling her I was full. We were like family, like friends, yet like the most familiar strangers. Only I knew I liked her. Because I liked her, I had to push her away. She would live well, not wasting her time on me, nor on the daily trivialities of life. That time she was dragged into an alley, I realized that following me was her greatest burden. Initially, when I voiced my needs, she ignored them. I'd break down and beg her to leave, but she just smiled silently. Gradually, as her face grew thinner, my urgency increased. I used the most vicious words I thought I could. She used to have a bad temper. I thought she would leave, but it was useless. That was the most harmful mistake I've ever made in my life. Rainey always said I was contradictory, always inconsistent in my actions. Indeed, isn't that the truth? I wanted her to leave, to live a better life. But when she really was about to leave, I realized I could no longer bear to lose her. Her funeral was very quiet, just me and the vegetable vendor from the market. We watched her lively self turn into a square box. The vegetable vendor smiled and said, "Trouble lasts 1,000 years. How come she's different? Dying so young." As she spoke, she sat down on the ground and started crying. I quietly brought Rainey's ashes back home. She would be buried with my brother. I think she would be happy to know that, and I carefully took down the portrait in the room and placed it in my suitcase. I went to a school in the south. I heard there's an ocean there. That's nice, that's nice. Late at night, I turned on her phone and found her Instagram account. The account had gathered quite a few followers. From the initial laughter to the final concerned queries, Rainey hadn't replied to any. Such a lively person she was, yet she arranged the most silent way to handle her own death. I scrolled down, and 3 years ago, a girl with beautiful aspirations wrote one post after another, in which one person always took the lead, and another was mentioned like a shadow. My fingertips paused on June 1st. June 1st. Cloudy, my child is in his first year of high school, yet we still celebrated Children's Day for him. What can we do when he's still so childlike? When will he grow up? I gave a wry smile, feeling a mix of emotions, and whispered to the empty room, Rainey, I've grown up, but why won't you turn around and look at me? Her attention was always on my older brother. I don't know if there was ever a time when she looked back at me for my sake. Maybe there was, but I didn't see it. After hearing the story above, what are your thoughts? Feel free to share your opinions in the comments section. Looking forward to hearing from you. If you liked this story, don't forget to like it, share it, and subscribe to my channel. See you next time.